Welcome back, everybody, after a 2-minute intermission to the first annual Cherokee County Media Days. We thank everybody for taking some time out of your day to come down here and spend with us. All the coaches that came out and the players, we love all you guys. We can't wait to see the season get kicked off. Still left is Coach Kelly, and the boys, they're already here. They're over there killing on some cheeseburgers right now. And Coach Beckett, he and one of his players are already here, Nick Clifton, when you tailback from Cedar Bluff, is already here. So, without further ado, thank you guys for being here. Coach Heath, good to see you again. I went out there the other day and got to visit with them, and they're working all over the campus up there at Sandrock. They're out on the practice field. They're in the weight room. They're in the gym. These guys are really putting in the work. So, first of all, Coach, we'll start it off by saying, how long have you been head coach at Sandrock?
Well, I'm going into my second season right now. You know, I came up there a couple of years ago as assistant principal. Thought I was done with coaching, and then the opportunity came about, and I realized how much I missed it, and got back into it last year. And I didn't become the head coach at Sandrock until the middle of July last year, so I hadn't even been the year yet. But we're going into my second season as the head coach now.
There's only been like 3 in the history of the school, right? You, Jake Away, and
there was some before Jake Way, I think.
you know, Coach Knapp's granddaddy actually coached there.
Okay.
Yeah, he did. Well, how's workouts going, Coach?
They're going great. I mean, you know, at Sandrock, our only real advantage is that we're going to work hard, and that's what we've got to take advantage of. And the great thing is I've got some really good kids who do work really hard. And you know, basically whatever I ask them to do, they do it. You know, this time last year, you know, I was in the interim capacity, and I had like 3 or 4 kids who were squatting 315 maybe was their max. And now we've got about 8. I mean, True there, little True there, he's squatting 415, 420, 425. I mean, you know, and I've got like 8 or 9, I think, who are mid 400s now squatting. So, I mean, they're working hard, and, you know, they see the payoff when they look in the mirror. And that's something that I think has really kind of caught fire with a lot of our kids is, you know, how much better they feel and look. And I ask a lot out of them. It's not easy to play for me, is it? But I think they see the rewards and the payoff. And, you know, as we move towards, you know, building the program back to where it was and back to where it needs to be.
About the culture of the program.
The culture of the program. Yeah. That's part of it, is seeing those little rewards along the way that make you be self-motivated. It's not just, you know, Coach Heath yelling in your face.
Yes. Yeah, tell us about some of your assistants now. I know a few of them. Talk to us about your assistant coaches.
Well, we got a great staff at Sandrock, you know, and I inherited all of them but one. We just hired Coach T. He's new to our staff, but other than that, I got Coach Thornberry, Coach Short, Coach Bates. Coach Jake Away is helping me some, and having Coach Jake Away around, I can't say enough about that.
Yeah, he was supposed to be here. I thought he was.
Well, he's a resource that is unbelievable, and so he's not afraid to tell me if he thinks I'm doing something boneheaded, but he also is encouraging and helps me out a whole lot, and I'm thrilled to be able to have him around. But our whole coaching staff is excellent. I mean, you know, we got guys who work really hard. Coach Thornberry is our DC, and really everybody's all about helping Sandrock football be the best it can be, and that's the most important thing. You know, I hear a lot of and there's nobody on our staff who I think's in it for them. They're in it for these kids. They love these kids, and these kids know that we all love them.
Well, Coach, as far as did you lose a lot last year? I was going to talk to you about finding a new leader, but you have most of your players back, do you not?
Yes, sir. We didn't have a very large senior class last year, but, I mean, the ones we have were good leaders. They worked hard. And, of course, you know, like I said, I didn't become the head coach till the middle of July. So it was real quick of having to get things going. And so now I've had, you know, basically a year to get these guys going and get them bought in. And I think, you know, like these two right here, True Graham, he'll be a senior. He plays safety for us. This is Brian East. He'll be a senior. He plays offensive line, defensive line, and is a kicker. They're two of my leaders. But, you know, basically my whole senior class coming up. I mean, you know, you got Olin Pruitt. I mean, we got a bunch of guys who are good athletes who care about what we're doing, and they want to really, you know, bring Sandrock back to where it used to be, back where it needs to be.
Yeah, what this is for you guys, you know, being part of, you know, we're talking about that culture at Sandrock, and if your parents played there or whatever, you know the history up there. Always been a tough, hard-nosed football game. Cedar Bluff players, I speak for me myself, when you got up Saturday morning after you played Sandrock, you were sore. Even if you might have won the game, you knew you played a tough football game. So tell us about keeping that physicality, continued through this year and bringing that,
The past couple of years, it's been kind of like rough, but we're trying to make it where when, like you said, like when you play Sandrock, that the next day that you played them, and we're trying to get back to that mentality and not playing that way.
Yeah, like he said, that's really all we want now. If we can just get everybody in the same mindset that we used to have back in the day, make sure on Saturday morning everybody knows they played Sandrock. That's all we want.
Good. Yeah, that's what everybody's looking for, to be competitive, in the region. And, Dean, what you got about the region play for them this year?
Yeah, well, what's it going to take to win your region? Obviously, we got Spring Garden in the house, so, you can.
Well,
You got to beat them, right?
He ain't paying no attention.
Yeah, well, I'd rather not mention the game we played against them last year. Once again, that's last year. Though.
A lot
That's
of people
over.
say the same thing. It's okay.
Well, that's
They were
last
really
year,
good.
and that's over. Like Coach Howard said, that's over. And last year's over. So we're looking towards this year, and it starts in the weight room. It starts with your mentality, and one of our things is win every step, every rep, every play, every day, and we work hard towards that. And that's in the past, and I talked to you about this a little bit the other day, but last year we played some pretty good football at the beginning of the season, then we hit some adversity and it kind of fell off.
Yeah,
It was
that
like,
COVID, man, it hit
yeah,
y'all.
and we had to forfeit 2
Had some
games,
injuries.
and it really was a bad situation. But the thing is, you can't let circumstances dictate outcomes.
Because there's nothing you can do about it.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
what you have to do is fight through that. And I think, I noticed the other night at Glencoe in our jamboree, our spring jamboree, we made about every mistake you could make, and I was irate, and I can be a little intense every now and then, and but rather than them pouting or getting down like we might would have done last season,
Yeah.
you know what they did? They said yes, sir, and they got back out there and they worked their tails off. And to me, that shows that we're getting towards that mentality we need to have. And getting back to where we, that winning mentality, that even if something goes wrong, rather than pout about it or be down about it, we're just going to go out there and do our job, because that's what you got to do to be successful.
Yeah.
Who's in your region? I know Cleveland, Spring Garden.
Westbrook, Gaston, Locust Fork, Southeastern.
Southeastern. Okay.
It's a tough region now. I mean, that's,
It is.
everybody said when we moved down to that more Gadsden area region, well, you got an easier region. I'm like, have you looked at it?
Yeah,
It ain't,
yeah.
I mean, it may not have Fife, but it doesn't have some of the other teams that are in that region either.
You're going
Well, I think just losing Fife off that just makes everybody.
Oh,
Well, we got
absolutely.
Spring Garden, though.
But yeah.
yeah. And you're going to start out, as he mentioned earlier, Coach Howard had mentioned they're going to have the Jamboree up here.
Yes, sir.
Coach Heath's going to be hosting that.
Yes, sir.
But they're going to start out the season at Pisgah, at Westbrook, and then a region game they're going to play at Gaston. I think is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, looking forward to the season, how do you get ready, for that game one? What are you looking to make an impact with, not just your junior class, to make an impact for next year, but these seniors, how do you prepare them? And that's also a two-part question. You guys can answer the other part of how you get ready. What do you expect, and are you doing what he's expecting you to do, I guess?
Well, basically, I've tried to get with them about, we have nameless, faceless opponents, okay? Because it's not, I don't want them to think about, oh, well, this team did this last year, or this team is this good, or whatever else. We got a job to do. We got to go out and do it. And, that's what we do in the weight room, and it's paying dividends. And that's what we do, try to do at practice every time we have the practice. Everything that we do is to make Sandrock better. I mean, that's what we're trying to do, is to improve Sandrock's football program. And so we can't worry about our opponent. Now, we're going to scout them. We're going to know what they do. We're going to put ourselves in the best position to be able to be competitive with them and beat them. But we're not worried about them. We're worried about us. So we got to work on us. And like I said, it starts with our weight room, our mentality, and what we're doing. And that's, the summer's the time you build that. That's why it's so important.
Yeah, what about?
I was going to ask the players.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this is y'all's. Are y'all both seniors? Yes. So y'all looking forward to this year? I mean, what y'all got to do to win this region? What do you?
Take it 1 week at a time.
Right,
Not worried
right.
about
Can't
if
look
it's week
ahead.
1, don't worry about week 2. Focus on week 1.
I thought y'all had a pretty good team last year. We watched y'all play against Cedar Bluff, and they had a pretty good lead on y'all, and they came. That was a wild ending.
Yes, we talked about that when I went over there. That's one of the best football games.
I
I know my boy
It
was
could've been
playing in that
better.
game, but it was like, man, that was a.
I can't. I mean, I'm sitting up there. I'm like, well,
I
surely
may be
they'll
a little
get this
biased
punt
on that
off, and
game,
then
but
you
it was
block
a
the
great
punt.
game.
Then they scored. Y'all scored on the last play of the game, right?
Yes, sir, we did.
Then we
Yeah, that was a wild one.
had too many men on the field, get a penalty, move the ball up, so they go for 2 instead of trying to tie.
And had a bad exchange and fumbled
Bad
the ball.
exchange,
And didn't
ball
win.
comes out, they pick up the return, pick up the loose ball, game's over. We win by 1.
1 point.
It was one of those kind of games. I mean, there was fire on the mountain. I put that in the post when I shared some stuff. It was a classic Cedar Bluff Sandrock game that we remember from your days being there and your old days from
Well,
being
it still
there.
kind of makes me
Right.
sick to my stomach to think about it. So
Yeah, back when I was in school, it was a great game every year.
Absolutely.
So that was good. So that fired y'all up, that ending of the year, that let y'all know y'all got a pretty good squad, right? Especially going into next year. Right. Got your quarterback back, running backs.
We still got some more to.
Still got
What about, we'll say this, as in going on, through the year, and I know your expectations, you always, it's one of those questions where you expect to win, to win a state championship. Tell us about, developing those players. I think you spoke a little bit about that already, of keeping them on track. So, what little things do you like, nutrition stuff? I know we asked some other coaches about, preparing and protein and the peanut butter sandwiches. You can tell us a little bit about that, about what you expect from them and, what do y'all eat, like nutrition stuff-wise?
Well, I preach to them all the time that our bodies are temples, and that's, what the Bible says, our bodies are temples. And that's what, we're trying to take care of that temple and build it up. I mean, that's what we're working towards. So if you're doing things that are negative towards that, then you're not only affecting yourself, but you're affecting our whole football program and team. So, we owe each other that we take care of our bodies. And we supply them with chocolate milk after every workout, everything like that. And I basically just stay on them about what they eat. We talk about that at least once a week. They call it my weekend speech about behavior and what you eat, what you put in your bodies, those type of things. And like if I ever forget it, they're like, "You gonna give us your weekend speech?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, yeah. So remember this, this, and this,
Yes, sir. Just make sure you don't eat any, like junk food because, like he said, if you're hurting when you like eat food like that, you're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting the team also. So like, yeah.
Y'all drink Coke?
I'm not going to say where I was at, and I'll add this little story, and I think I told you this. I was at a place up on the mountain. I'm not going to say where I was at a practice, and I was talking to a parent and a player, and as the parent and player were leaving each other from the practice that I was at, the player said he was going to stop at a store and he was going to get a Coke, and the daddy said, "No, you'll be getting a Gatorade. You're not drinking Coke." That's how serious. And at that place, I'm talking about, they win a lot of football games, and that's what you're expecting too. It's the same thing, and you don't think it's too important, I know, but it really is. It really does matter.
I couldn't have played these days. I mean, I got to have a Coke.
No way. There's no way I could make it. No.
Good gosh.
I don't remember drinking a lot of water when we played. I mean,
No,
it was always Gatorade in the
Gatorade.
bottles, on the sideline. But, anyway, we thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it, and I'm glad I got to come out and meet some y'all this other day at workouts. And, we'll be back. We'll be around practice. And
You're welcome anytime.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you.
Turn it over to them now. CMS.
Yes, Coach Shannon and Roy. Roy's got some questions. Hold on a minute. Let me get this thing to shut up.
We still got about 3 or 4 minutes, don't we?
Yes.
So you're
All right, got it.
kind of on the rebound from, and the team has done well in years past. How will you measure your success this season? What are some factors you're looking for?
Well, I mean, of course, first off, you want to win ball games. But, the main thing is, like I've told them before, that every play is a new opportunity. And every time we get the opportunity to go out there, our goal should be to win that opportunity, all right? And even if you make a mistake, even if you fall down, the key to success is getting back up and doing it again and trying to do it better and harder. And so, we do have room for improvement, definitely. We were 3-7 last year. That's the first thing I think of a lot of days. And we're 3-7. 2 of them were forfeits. I don't care. We still lost them. And so, our goal is to be successful in everything that we do. But, that, like I said, is not just every game. It's every rep. It's every single thing that we do. And when we watch film, I want to see the improvement throughout, not only throughout the season, but throughout the game. That, if we made a mistake in the first quarter and we told them how to fix it, that we fixed it, that we got better. Because, we are capable of being competitive with everyone that we play. 100%. I have no doubt in that. We should be competitive in every game that we play. And if they don't believe that, then I've got to fix that. I think that we should be competitive week in, week out.
Anybody else? Shannon, you got anything? Shannon Fagan?
Like the guys were talking about a while ago, the Cedar Bluff game coming down to, to the very end. I know there were, a few games that you guys had last year, had a break gone, in your favor. 3-7 might be 7-3. I mean, just talk about, hopefully this year, after you've gotten a year under your belt, hopefully this year maybe some of those breaks going your way.
Yes, sir. Well, the goal is to play to the level that even if the breaks don't go your way, that you're still successful. And, like I told you, back when we played Glencoe in that spring jamboree, oh, my goodness, we made every mistake. We hadn't fumbled the football in forever, well, other than that last play against Cedar Bluff. But we hadn't fumbled the football in forever. And then, we fumbled, twice, had a bad snap, hadn't had a bad snap in forever. Bradley has not had a bad snap since I can remember, had one of those. I mean, all these things. But instead of pouting about it, we got back up and we worked through it. And that's that change in mentality and in here that makes the difference in, I think, moving to that winning mentality versus trying to make excuses for why you didn't win, instead trying to find ways to win through adversity.
Yeah, very good. Anybody else got anything? Bo Starkey, average Joe.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Coach, I got to looking at your record last year, and you had back-to-back COVID losses.
Yes, sir.
Which I know is ridiculous. I know you said you were 3-7, but at the end of the day, I say that to say this: you guys, how much of a relief is it to kind of? I know it's not gone away, but to kind of get that behind us and have the mindset that it's not lingering over like a dark cloud coming into not only spring, but then over into summer workouts and over into fall.
Oh, I mean, it's tremendous. Not having to even, like you said, have it in the back of your mind, because anything that's a distraction from anything we're doing football-wise can have a negative impact. And even with dealing with that, I never forget, it was all I could do to not just burst out crying when I had to go tell them, hey, well, I just sent half our football team home. We're shutting the school down. We're going to forfeit the Collinsville game. I mean, that's a horrible thing to have to tell a bunch of kids. You're playing one of your biggest rivals, and we've already started preparing for it. I got a game plan together. We got practices planned. Oh, by the way, we're sending you home. We're not playing that game. That's a horrible situation to be in. Now, there's worse situations, don't get me wrong, but that's not a great one. And so not having to think about that, and hopefully we won't have to think about that, that's a huge plus for us. And also, like I said, going into season 2, I think they have a better understanding of what I expect of them, and I've seen that in how we react to things also.
And also, I noticed personally dealing with my son, played at Cedar Bluff, graduated last year, not to take things for granted, and that's what you're talking about. Coach Mack was emphasized that a lot. I mean, this could be, I heard him tell the boys a lot, hey, circle up, we're going to have a little talk. And at the end, he would say, and today might be the last day you practice football ever. Mm-hmm. And that really set in with me to think, man, this might be the last time I ever get to see my son play football. So, knock on wood, I'm glad, that some things are being back normal too. So we're all proud for that. I'm ready to get back to a normal season.
I got one last question for the players. You guys, coming off a 3-7 season, like I said, with the 2 COVID losses, obviously, but that's a perfect opportunity you guys to springboard into something great. Talk about this opportunity you guys have coming up with all of that behind you and ready to move forward.
Yeah, I think that the thing last year with COVID, when we had that 2 weeks off, everybody was just done. They're tired. They really didn't want to come back and play. This year we don't have that. Hoping rest of the season we won't have to worry about it. I think we got it this year. I think we're going to come back, work out all summer, go at it hard this fall.
Just all summer try to get better, and also use that 3-7 as motivation. That's what I use it for.
Wasn't a bad 3-7 though.
Well,
really 3-5,
it was uncontrollable. Right? Some of it. I mean, what could you do about
it? There's no such thing as a good 3-7. I promise you that.
Well, I mean, but you went 3-5 and lost one game by 1 point.
Oh, yes, sir. That is true. That is true.
Yeah, had a good season. Again, thank you everybody. All you guys, been great questions. Thank you guys again for coming, man.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for all you do.
Yeah, we'll see you guys out there. Thank you. Sandrock.